What's the most interesting revelation you've had about the opposite gender?
Experience 1. Nuts move all on their own. Like the skin flexes and shifts and like crawls up and down twitching. I read it on Reddit, called BS, and went and inspected the spouse. I was very surprised. I learned it in the last few years. I'm not a young person. Experience 2. I was 16-17 when I found out periods happen over time, not an instant gush of blood that comes out at some random point over a 1-week time period. I blame adverts for panty liners where they poured all the blue liquid out at once. Experience 3. As a dude, I grew my hair really long, and the amount of hair I had to pull out of my butt while showering was shocking. Crazy that so many long-haired ladies had been pulling hair out of their butts most of their lives. Experience 4. That nothing stands the test of time in a relationship more than kindness. It can't be faked long-term. It's literally the most important quality in a mate. Experience 5. Their pants don't have a waist size and leg length. Just an arbitrary number. What the hell is a size 3? Edit, I had no idea a size 3 was tiny. It was the first number that popped into my head. Experience 6. Men are incredibly emotional humans in a way that deserves so much showing up for and gentleness. I used to believe the stereotypes and didn't always hold space for men to bring their emotions. But once I began clocking into how some men show up in their emotions, I was able to see how awesome they are in that space. Experience 7. Men really do sit there and think about the most random things. You think they're mad at you, but they're seriously just contemplating what would happen if oxygen just suddenly disappeared for a brief moment. Experience 8. That guys don't talk about their sex life with each other. I grew up watching all these movies where guys were in locker rooms describing their sexual encounters. So, I thought all guys did this. I was surprised to find out that they hardly ever do this, and a lot don't want you discussing it at all with anyone. Edit, thanks for the award. Also, my notifications are crying right now. Experience 9. I think I was a teenager when I realized that my assumption 95% of women think they're beautiful was actually the inverse of reality. I have no idea why I thought that was the case, but I did. When I started understanding people's insecurities about their appearance, men included, it changed the way I interacted with them. Experience 10. When I was a teenager, maybe 15-16, I watched a movie with a girl cousin of mine, the same age as me. There was a scene where it was a bunch of women walking around nude or in their underwear together. I made a comment somewhere along the lines of,
Man, girls are actually comfortable doing that.
To which my cousin said,
What? No. Girls have body issues and self-esteem and are always self-conscious about their bodies. Our school change rooms have cubicles to avoid that. If anything, you boys are always walking around like that because you guys are always confident and don't have that.
Of course, that's when I told her.
No, it's not like that for us guys. Sure, our school changing room doesn't have cubicles, but none of us are strutting around like that and changing as fast as we can. Because many of us also have self-esteem issues. I just assumed girls were different because of movies like this.
We both had a revelation that day. Experience 11. Women really want to be found interesting by someone who isn't trying to sell them something or get them into bed in the next few hours. Experience 12. Long-winded, bear with me. When I lived with male roommates and would clean the bathroom, yeah, everything was always covered in a thin sheer of beard hair, which, like whatever, price of admission to living with men. But the dust and hair around the base of the toilet was always immune to a broom, so I would have to get down and scrub, which again, you should be scrubbing your bathroom anyways. But then I moved in with my girlfriend and just my girlfriend. I took my first bath, and my cat walked near the base of the toilet, and I was like, buddy, no, I haven't mopped down there yet. And I looked. And it was a little dusty, but it didn't have that sticky gross dust. And I realized. It's a piss splatter. The dust is sticky and caked to the floor because of piss splatter. I felt so stupid for not realizing until that moment, and also so grossed out every time I personally scrubbed my roommate's piss off the floor. Edit, I am a girl. It wasn't my piss. Experience 13. I recently learned that there is apparently a large subsection of women who do not know you cannot flush tampons. I really thought this was common knowledge, as I have seen the signs in every unisex bathroom I have been in that say do not flush hygiene products. It seems to me that even if no one told you not to do this, the regular plumbing issues you must encounter would correct the problem on its own. Seems wild to me. Experience 14. The lack of guys in child-centered roles, especially roles involving young children, due to their fear of being accused of / perceived as a creep, is a real shame and disservice to our youth. My first job was working as a daycare assistant in high school. My guy friend worked at the same place. He wasn't allowed to change diapers / clothes or hug and basically comfort kids, though only girls or women were allowed. We were both deeply offended by the implication that he couldn't be trusted to perform the same job as me because he might do something sick. I felt valued as an employee, but he felt like he had a target on his back. Is this the message we want to send to boys? And why perpetuate the societal expectation that females should / need to handle more childcare tasks than males? I've babysat for a ton of different families over the years. The blind trust some parents have in me just because I'm a woman is bewildering. Strangers have literally handed me their kid without batting an eye. Male babysitters are pretty much non-existent aside from the occasional family member or maybe a close family friend. And even if those boys or men are available and willing to babysit, there's a very high chance that a female family member or close family friend will be chosen instead, if possible. I was a teacher for a while, too. In many instances, female teachers are given much more leeway when it comes to how they interact with boy students compared to how male teachers interact with female students. My ex was a teacher as well and felt like he had to walk on eggshells. I didn't. A whopping 77% of all K-12 public school teachers in the US are women. My guy cousin is a kindergarten teacher. He's a unicorn. Only 11% of public elementary school teachers in the US are men. I'd love to see more men working in child-centered professions. Kids benefit from having a heterogeneous mix of caretakers / adults in their lives. Men who are interested in enriching a child's life deserve to do so without being made to feel like a freaking weirdo for no reason aside from being men. Experience 15. If you treat them right, they will take care of you when you're disgusting. I can't get off the pot right now and we're a little scared we might have to call an ambulance. She brought me a small glass of wine, a water bottle, and some crackers. She is sitting by the door, that's love. Update, I couldn't pee, and it was hurting but I'm okay now. Experience 16. They are still attracted to women after they have children, get older, etc. I spent all my teens and 20s completely nervous that I was not attractive enough and completely insecure after I had kids, only to find out men don't care about stretch marks, gray hair, or a little bit of a soft tummy. Men dig confident and happy women. The stuff we are insecure about does not stop them from thinking we are sexy. Such a revelation. Experience 17. My contribution is that women out of your league may not be looking for some Andrew Tate alpha male who drinks bull piss and gets into fights. She may actually have a crush on you and be just as shy to approach you as you are. Imagine my shock when I was on a manic high and spoke to a woman I knew would never associate with my ass, and she was the exact type of person I was looking for, and I happened to be the exact type she was looking for. Next month will be 12 years of marriage. Experience 18. I was once at a party, chatting with friends, when another man who is much larger and stronger than me did that flirting move where you put your hand on someone else's arm. Later in the party, I was alone in the kitchen when the same guy walked in, and he tried to be flirty with me. All I could really think was, geez, this guy is way bigger than me, and I hope this conversation doesn't head south. A few days later I realized, oh, that's how women feel when men they aren't interested in trying to flirt with them. Experience 19. I, 51-year-old male, have heard for a long time from women, friends and strangers writing op-eds about the notion that hetero men think they want to partner with a strong woman, but they don't, actually. Many men want a fantasy version of a strong woman, someone who is strong when it's convenient, but who is still available to be what a man needs/wants her to be when he needs and wants it. And honestly, I think this dynamic is true in a lot of relationships I've observed, and, sadly, I've realized it's been true in some of my own, as I've learned and grown. However, there's a dynamic that goes the other way that I also think is common and not much talked about. Hetero women think they want to partner with a man who can express his emotions and be vulnerable, but they don't, actually. Many women want a fantasy version of an expressive man, someone who expresses emotions and vulnerabilities that these women know how to handle when it's convenient for them to express. Many women are not really prepared for actual masculine vulnerability, which is often at odds with the fantasy of a strong, supportive male partner who always has a shoulder available for crying on. Actual masculine vulnerability is often about how burdensome and tiring it can be to be that person. And many, not all, but many, hetero women find that threatening, in the same way that men are threatened by the actuality of feminine strength. I don't mean this in an accusatory way, but I think about it a lot, especially when I hear the growing sentiment these days, from op-eds and comedians and SNL skits, that men need more male friends. That may be true for some men, but I suspect these sentiments are also a byproduct of men actually trying to communicate with their partners in ways they thought they'd been encouraged to, only to find their partners resistant or even repulsed. Minor edits for clarity. Later, well, this blew up into a much bigger thing than I'd have ever guessed. Thanks for your comments, everyone. I'm leaving this as I wrote it, but I would stress that I don't mean all women and all men are like this, or that all relationships are subject to these dynamics. I do think a lot of hetero-American relationships are, and probably more than we realize, even when we're trying to be good and open and loving with one another. Experience 20. Until I became friends with my male best friend, I had no idea about how few compliments men receive, both regarding their personality and appearance. Apparently, in many, not all, I have of course heard different things. Male friend circles, you get made fun of and teased if you accomplish something or have a nice new haircut, instead of being told you did great. Made me really sad, because he is an amazing person and told me in confidence how fucking happy it made him when I say I'm proud of him or even comment on his new pair of sneakers. It had pulled his self-esteem down throughout his whole life.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.